Another day, another video. Well, same day for me, but new day for you guys. In this video, we're going to break down our power setup. So you may have, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that I've installed some solar panels, and you may be curious as to how I achieved that and what battery system am I using, how am I routing the wires or whatever. So let's go ahead and break that down, and that way you guys can do this for yourself if you guys want to. Alright, so here's the top of the tent, and you can see we have two solar panels. These are from Renogy. I'll put them all in the description below if you guys are curious to get these same exact panels for you. Both of these panels are 175 watt panels, and they're the flex panels, which is why they're so thin. Now, how did I mount these to the tent? Relatively easily, actually. I just used some 3M sticky tape, similar to what you would find on the bottom of a GoPro mount, that same exact stuff, and I just kind of put it all over the bottom, and then I put them on the tent, and that's pretty much it. So obviously the wires are in the front. The wires are in the front, so each panel you get a positive and a negative, and then I have the wires routed underneath the tent all the way to the rear, and I'll show you that in just a second. I've been very happy with the solar panel setup. It's given me plenty of power to run everything that I need, and the low profileness of them doesn't take away from any of the aerodynamics of this brick that is the Xterra. And the only thing I don't like is how big they are. I thought I was going to be able to mount them side by side, like left and right, but obviously I can't because they're so long. And I was hoping that I could, so that way I could still keep both of my roof boxes on. Right now I just have the one. However, still very happy with the setup that these panels have provided, and the power source and that they've given me to be able to run my refrigerator 24/7, charge all my camera batteries, my drone batteries, my cell phones, my computers, all my camera batteries, so that I can bring you guys good content, all of that. So very thankful for these panels, and they weren't even that expensive. I think for both of them it was like $350, which isn't too bad, and I got all the wiring from Amazon, which is a lot cheaper to do. But without further ado, let's go ahead and look a little bit further into the solar setup and the battery setup, and yeah. Okay, so in the rear, this is where all the wires are routing from, like I just told you a few seconds ago. But I have them routed from each side of the roof. So there's two there, and then there's two from this side as well, respectively corresponding to the specific panel on the roof. So let's look inside. How did I get the wires inside? That's the tricky part, right? So inside the truck, with the hatch open, you can see here come the wires. Not the best routing solution, but it works, and it's watertight. So we have the two wires here, positive and negative, meeting with the other two positive and negative wires here, and they go in this hole here. So again, the grommet doesn't go back in, but when doors close, it provides a good enough weather seal so that you don't have to worry about water getting in. So the wires then come down through here, and then I drilled some holes in the panel. You see there, the wires come out, and then they go up front. So let's go ahead and move up there. Alright, so here on the side, the wires then come through the pillar here, and then they come out the bottom over here through the plastic, and then I have the wires routed underneath the carpet inside to the other side where the battery is. So let's go show you real quick what that looks like. So there come the wires here. They come through down through here, and then they're poking out right through here. Just again drilled a hole, not super clean, but it works. Cables are routed underneath the carpet all the way over to the battery over there. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so here's our battery. As you can see, it's not probably what you guys were expecting. It's just a Jackery Explorer 1500. This is what I had, this is what I was using before, and I figured out a way to hook the panels up to the Jackery. So here you can see the wires coming up from the carpet right here, and then they route up and they plug right into the input. As you can see, I have the Jackery 1500 has 2 inputs. Each input can only take 300 watts of input. So that's why I have the panels wired separately, because if they were both delivering the full amount of wattage they can give, it would be 350 watts. So that's why I wired them separately. That way I can make sure that each panel can give the maximum amount of wattage without over inputting the battery. However, the Jackery 1500 doesn't have your standard 8mm DC connection like some of the other batteries do. They have a specific one that you have to get an adapter for, so that's what this is. And then you might be wondering, like, well, where's your second cord? Well, that's what's great about having the adapter, is I can take one of these cords and charge my Jackery Explorer 500. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm charging this battery up, so that way I can use it for other auxiliary type of charging power sources that I need. I usually use the Jackery 500 to do all my charging at night up in the tent. So I run my lights off of that, I charge my phone, charge my watch, charge my computer, charge my GoPros, whatever, while I'm sleeping. And the main reason for this one is to run the refrigerator, and then it also has a bigger inverter, so I can charge my drone batteries and camera batteries as well. But this one is always powered. I was just in Africa for a month. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that. I posted some pictures and stories and whatever. I had the refrigerator running the entire time I was gone without anybody checking on it, and I came back, battery was still at 100%, and the refrigerator was still running, temperatures were still the correct temperature, and that was a big test for me. I was like, if it can go, you know, a month of me not looking at it, not messing with it, and I can come back and it's still charged and it's still running, then we're golden. And sure enough, these panels give plenty of power to keep this guy charged, even with the refrigerator running, even with drone batteries charging, even with everything else that's going on. I've never had it get below like 60%, and that was on a cloudy day. So this setup is super, super nice. You don't need to worry about charge controllers. You don't have to worry about, you know, big expensive, you know, car batteries that you have to put somewhere, and you don't have to buy an inverter. You just get this all in one, and it makes it super nice. The only thing I don't like about this Jackery is, you guys probably know, is they don't have the collapsible handle. I wish I had waited for the 2000, the one that had the collapsible handle, and that would have been absolutely wonderful, but I did not, so I'm stuck with having to deal with the handle. But that being said, it still fits nicely in here. I'm gonna plan to build some shelving in here, like a charging station, just to make it look a little bit neater and to keep the battery level. And yeah, but so here we have our USB outputs. So each one of these charges my iPad, my phone, and then it runs my Wi-Fi router that I have established in the car, and these stay on all the time. So my iPad's always being charged, my phone's always being charged when it's in the car, and the Wi-Fi router is always being charged as well. So let's take a look at that real quick. We can see the setup in the front with all that stuff being charged, so you guys can get a feel for how everything is set up. Okay, so welcome to the inside cockpit, if you will, of the car, the truck, the rig, whatever you want to call it. So here we have our iPad setup, always being charged, like I just mentioned in the back. Here's our phone mount, RAM mount. All of these are RAM mounts, and these are 100% recommend. I have a RAM mount for the Garmin, for the iPad, and the phone. And these mounts are just indestructible, and they work really well. You don't have to worry about your phone falling off while you're on the trail. I had a magnetic mount over here for a while, and every time I would hit a bump, the foam would just fall straight down. And I was like, can't drive with the window down because it might fall out the window. So we've upgraded to the ram mount, and never looking back. These things are wonderful. So that's that, and then let's take a look at the router if you guys are curious about that. Alright, so here's the router. It's just a standard Netgear router I got on Amazon, and I have a SIM card in there, basically a cell phone broadcasting a hotspot. So the cabling routes through the floor, up through the pillar, and then just pokes out of the headliner and charges the battery for the router. And it's just stuck to the headliner with some Velcro, similar to the patches. And I just did this today, so I haven't really tested it yet to see if it'll stay there on bumpy roads. But so far so good. I really like it. I used to run it up here in the little tray up here, but it would get too hot. It would overheat because it's right in the window. So I moved it here, thinking that it'll be, you know, out of the sun, out of the way. And so far so good. I like how it is, how it's set up. So alright guys, that will about do it for today. I hope you guys found this video super informational and super helpful to you guys. If you're curious about doing a solar setup to your rigs, super easy to do. I did it in a day. The only difficult thing was I had to splice the wires to the connectors, so that way I could remove them if I needed to. But that being said, it still took a day, took a Saturday, you know. If you guys are curious about getting more into overlanding, this is a great way to help prolong your ability to stay off the grid. That way you don't have to worry about, you know, getting more food, or you don't have to worry about your food getting stale or going bad or moldy or whatever. So having that refrigerator powered all the time is super helpful, thanks to the solar setup. So without further ado guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way, anytime I post a new video, you guys will be the first to know, and come and check it out. Thanks, guys.